Yeah, there are a lot of benefits. If you think on the kilogram, it can fall down, or you scratch it. So you're losing a part of the kilogram. The result would be that the whole universe would get heavier. So this obviously cannot happen with constants, numerical values, which you have fixed. So they are fixed and they are engraved in stone forever. So the system becomes more stable. So this is one of the very important ingredients. The second one is, for instance, that you can realize the units everywhere in the world. So you don't need to go to Paris in order to compare your kilogram with that kilogram, but you can do an experiment in your own laboratory, also in industry, in calibration laboratories, and realize the kilogram, so to say, by yourself. You have to make sure that the experiment is correct and compare it, but otherwise you can realize in your laboratory. Another big advantage. Another big advantage is that we then would have a coherent system. So we define these defining constants, and we use the equations of nature, of physics, and out of that the units emerge. So it's a coherent, consistent system based on our present knowledge. It is perfectly possible to connect now these measurements, these sensors to the internet, for instance. Because it's, as I said, you don't need to go to Paris for the kilogram, but you have it in your laboratory. You can automatically calibrate. You can bring these calibrated values into the internet. So the Internet of Things and the Internet of Industry 4.0 is perfectly connected to that. Another example. Electrical units are, as I said before, back in the SI. So we have a wonderful and good system. And very importantly, maybe the most important thing is that we think that we trigger a lot of innovation in industry, because now everybody in the world could say, okay, here are these defining constants, and I have an equation connecting them and giving it or connecting them to a unit. And then I only need to invent a certain experiment, finally, to realize the unit by my own, and maybe better as it was before. So we can become better and better and better without changing the definition. This is one of the big advantages. So there's no limit in accuracy how we can realize the units. It's only limited by our technical possibilities, but not by the definition. If you look for the kilogram, for instance, you can never be better than the properties of this artifact. This will not be the case. So, and this actually, we think, will then also trigger innovation in industry, in measurement industry.